Hey everyone, this is Miss Ackerman here with a short video explaining the different sections that make up Cornell Notes. Nobody likes taking notes. However, we take notes in class because we are lazy. I know it sounds weird, but the point of notes is to help us remember what we are taught, and it is a lot easier and faster to review notes than it is to sit through an entire lecture all over again or read an entire textbook all over again. Cornell Notes are awesome because it takes a week to complete if you are doing them correctly, and every step of the way you are sneaking in studying without even realizing it. At the middle school level, we like to provide students with Cornell note paper in order to make life easier. As students get better at taking Cornell notes, they can create their own. The first thing you are going to do before you even start taking notes is to complete the heading section. You will need to put your name on your notes, first name and last name because we are in middle school now, the class the notes are for, and the date you took the notes. The heading also includes a topic and/or essential question. The teacher will usually provide the student with this information. I personally like to give students an essential question because if a student can answer this question, then that means the student understands the material. The next step is to complete the notes section, and this is the part of the notes that looks the most familiar to adults. Students will be writing down the main ideas of the lectures, making sure to include examples when necessary. Good note takers will not write incomplete sentences. Instead, they will write information using abbreviations, short phrases, and pictures. Every time there's a new piece of information, it needs to go on a new line. And when the teacher starts talking about a new idea, then students should skip a line before continuing to write. Because students in middle school are just learning how to take notes, it will be hard for them at first to figure out what things they need to write down and what things they don't. To address this, many teachers will have students copy information directly from a PowerPoint slide or will model for students how to take notes by taking notes themselves during the lecture. As the year progresses and students get more practice with note-taking, teachers will require students to do more of the thinking by having them paraphrase information provided on PowerPoint slides or figure out on their own what is important to write down and what isn't. Keep in mind, every teacher is different, so if you have questions about whether or not your child is taking good notes, please contact the teacher directly. Teachers may also have students take Cornell notes from a textbook instead of from a lecture. In this case, students will need to take notes by themselves, making sure to write down the main ideas of each section in the text. Don't forget to write down vocabulary words and their definition because these usually show up on tests. The section on the left is the questions section where students need to come up with a question that can be answered by the notes on the right side of the page. Kind of like what the contestants do on Jeopardy! This is where skipping lines between big ideas help because it lets you know when you have to write a new question. Parents, creating questions is really hard. We start teaching our 7th graders how to create questions when school starts in August, and students won't truly be able to do this on their own until the end of the school year. That's a lot of practice. Mistakes are inevitable and just part of the learning process. The last section in Cornell Notes is a summary, and as it sounds, the summary is a paragraph that sums up the information on the notes. If the teacher included an essential question, the student just needs to answer the essential question. As with all assignments, students need to make sure to read their summary out loud after it is finished in order to catch any grammar mistakes. A good summary will make sure to include all the main ideas in the notes and will be written using the student's own words. What makes Cornell Notes powerful is the fact that each section requires students to review their notes and challenge them to analyze, apply, and evaluate what they are learning. This first happens about 10 minutes after students finish taking notes. This is where students are asked to reread their notes and get everything organized. They can do this by highlighting main ideas, circling vocabulary, rewriting sections that are unreadable because they were writing too fast, and adding missing information. The next day, or 24 hours after notes were taken, is when students should write the questions. This requires students to once again review their notes and act like a teacher of sorts and ask themselves, why is this information important? What am I supposed to learn? Writing questions is also cool because students can fold their notes along the vertical line separating the question section from the notes section, and their notes have just become a really big flashcard they can use for studying. Finally, students write the summary to their notes about 7 days after first taking them. Over this week, they have probably been using their notes frequently in class and applying the information they learned in different ways. And that, my friends, is how to take Cornell Notes.